The topic that I want to talk about today is that it's okay to be selfish. I think that when people hear the word selfish, they view it in a bad way, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. When I talk about being selfish, I mean putting yourself first, putting your mental health, your needs before other people's. It's like when they tell you on an aeroplane, if you're crashing or whatever, to put on your face mask or oxygen mask before you put on your kids. I think that's really important because we can't help other people if we can't help ourselves. That's why I feel like instead of pouring all our energy and love into other people, we gotta do that to ourselves first. You know, we can't not fill our cup up before we start filling other people's, because then we're just gonna have nothing left to give. And what's the point? So what I mean is, when it's okay to be selfish, is it's okay to put yourself first. And I think many people neglect to do that. And you know, some people go their whole lives without realizing they're actually doing things for other people, not for themselves. And like, I'm a victim of this. I think most people watching are probably a victim of this. And it's completely normal. Like, it's human nature. When you care about somebody, you tend to put their needs first. But in reality, that's not the healthy thing to do. And I've learned this through lots of experience, lots of relationships, friendships, whatever. But you know, if you put your all into a relationship and then, you know, you're putting their needs first, whatever, and then that ends, you're sort of left with nothing, because you didn't putting your own needs first. Also sets boundaries for the other person, and people view that as, oh, you know, you're being selfish because you're putting yourself first, you're not thinking about me. But that's not how it has to go. You can think about somebody else's needs and also be selfish, you know, put yourself first. Say, for example, someone's really upset with you for something, but then, you know, they keep bringing it up, but you've said sorry, you know, you've done what you could, and they clearly can't accept that. You sort of got to put yourself first and say, you know, you're starting to really get to me now. I understand that I upset you, but can we just leave it here? You know, and if they can't do that, then that's their problem. That's not your problem. Don't feel guilty because, you know, obviously unless it's something really bad, like you killed somebody, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about minor things. You know, put yourself first. You know, wall yourself off. Put your boundaries up. That's important. That's one of the first steps of self-love, is having boundaries and letting other people know that, you know, if there's a situation that's, you know, bad or I'm uncomfortable with, I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to leave that situation, even if it doesn't necessarily benefit you. I need to do what benefits me, because you're all you have in this life. You know, you don't get a do-over. You don't get another body. You can't become another person. You are who you are, and you got to protect yourself. And being selfish, you know, it's not a bad thing. I think people need to realize that. Obviously, when it comes to being harmful to other people by being selfish, that's a whole different topic. But this, putting in your boundaries, respecting yourself, but then also, you know, considering other people's feelings, that's the most important part. That's the difference between being selfish and putting yourself first. If you're feeling guilty about something, or, you know, guilty for not putting another person first, you shouldn't. You should feel more guilty about not putting yourself first. You know, not walking away from that relationship for your own benefit, or not walking away from a friendship because you're not being fair to yourself. You're not being true to yourself. And, you know, it may be viewed as selfish on the other person's behalf, but you're doing what's best for you, and that's what's most important. It's just a matter of understanding. I think once you get it in your head, you know, what you're doing isn't necessarily selfish, it's just what feels right for you. Things and situations become a lot easier to walk away from or walk into, even. You can't hold yourself back because you're scared you're going to hurt somebody else's feelings. And I think we all hold ourselves back for the fear of hurting someone that we care about, but that's not fair on yourself. It may not be fair on them, and that's fair enough, which is why, you know, open communication is important. You should communicate these feelings to whoever it is, you know, partner, friend, parents, even family members. You know, it's important to communicate and try help them understand instead of just doing something and then letting them face the consequences. At least warn them if, you know, it's a big sort of life-changing thing like a breakup or something like that. But yeah, it's important that we don't let others hold us back because we're scared of hurting them and we're scared of carrying the guilt of that. We shouldn't have to. If you know that is something you need to do, or that is something you want to do, and the only thing holding you back is somebody else, that's how you know that you should do it. If that's the only thing holding you back, you should just do it. So it's okay to be selfish, and it's okay to put yourself first. Because if you don't, you may just end up living a life of regret.